like your mental state clear and you just muted the toxic people, there's a far less chance that you'll tilt. Even if your team's playing bad, I find that I usually am a lot happier about it. So we're probably going to be against Storm. You could probably just go standard null if you want, or you could also do stick and like triple branch and tangos as well, but that's only if you want to all in the Storm. Like if you want to try to go for a kill. Like looking at their team composition right now, we see like 2 heroes that are pretty likely to not gank you, and the Clock and the Sark, so we know we're not going to get ganked. We can go with a greedy build. So yeah, null is fine. And we should be favored in this matchup, and since this guy is probably not going to be getting any help, we can play fairly aggressive.
Okay. That's because it's Sand King's aiming in the jungle and then just a Windrunner doesn't move.
Yeah, I mean, if the Sand King ganks your lane, it's still a pretty low chance for you to die because you have Blink. So unless you're committing your Blink to go for a kill, that's the only time you can be successfully counter-ganked. So it's a pretty low chance that they'll be able to kill you.
Okay.
The battle begins.
That Storm's not blocking, by the way, so it won't be too bad, even if he blocks a tiny bit, because he went for the bounty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so even if you mess up your block, it's not a big deal.
Denied.
Oh, there's 3 bottom. So I've noticed, in like the first 2 waves, you have some really good habits. You don't click the hero, which I think is a really good habit to get into as a matchup that you're supposed to win, because a lot of people will drag the creeps out of equilibrium, and then you end up just taking more harass damage. Force him to trade as much as you possibly can. Like when you get level 3, you want to make that guy suffer. Like you want to get level 2 dagger, and you just want to shit on him. Making these types of trades is ill-advised, because you were going for a CS, and you saw him positioning himself to hit you. So when he does that, all you want to do is walk back. Like if he's walking at you, and you have to decide between getting the CS and getting harassed, you should always just not let yourself get harassed, because this is a lane where you want to have high health to trade. Because if he hits you with a good overload, and you get a remnant on you for whatever reason, he can easily get a kill. And now we're very low on HP, so trading is a lot harder. But if he goes up to remnant like that, that's when you hit him. When he telegraphs himself going for a CS, that's when you want to trade. You don't ever want to walk up to the creep wave with him in range to hit you, and then CS. Ideally, we're standing really far back when we want to hit creeps, and we move forward into him when he goes in to go for his own CS.
I've been wanting to say that since this all began.
Alright.
And we're assuming he got a bounty because he doesn't have any effect on him right now, and he didn't get a regen. Okay, good to back there. We didn't have the creep advantage anyway. We're still a little bit greedy with our daggers here.
Alright.
Okay, so our bottle timing is a bit later than his, which means he has the CS advantage for now. But when he walks up like that, that's the ideal time to dagger, because he's going to be using his mana to push out the wave. This is a nice gank from the Chen. Probably going to get a kill here.
Illusion.
That blink is very dangerous, by the way, because you did not check his mana, and if he had a remnant, you could have died. Just an FYI.
Okay.
When you're going to blink high ground, your blink is a very long range, so you can actually blink to the left. Like, don't ever blink on where he's going to be. Blink in auto attack range, but not in remnant range. So the better blink would have been to blink to the middle of the top of the hill instead of just blinking right on his face. Because we were not diligent about checking his mana, or even if he had like a wand. Like, I had no idea from your vision, because I'm watching through your perspective. So that was a very greedy play. We have the creep advantage here, so we can be greedy with our harass. When he walked up there, he should have been punished for that. He should not have been able to just walk away.
Coin for me.
Heart Silencer got the bottom rune. Have we checked if the top rune is there? Okay, it's already taken. You should probably bottle crow once your boots get out, or your crow comes out. We're going to be 6 soon, but we don't have mana to kill, so we need to try to just CS for now, get the harass in when we can. Truthfully, we probably should have beaten the Storm a little bit harder than we did. We let him get a little bit extra CS. That was a good dagger. That's when you want to trade. I want you to do that like constantly when he's like before level 6. Like he goes up for his CS, he auto attacks with his overload, boom, you dagger him and you hit him like once or twice.
Fuck, I'm panicking.
No, it's okay, dude. It's like, it's fine. I'm just giving you the advice so you know when the opportunity is there, like when you should be trading and when you should not be trading.
I fucked up the crow because I was just like thinking too many things.
It's all good. If it helps, we will look over the replay, and that way you won't have to be playing at the same time, so I can show you like where the times were that it was very obvious that you could have harassed and the times where you took a trade that was maybe not ideal.
Okay.
Slark's getting nothing bottom though.
Okay, so we know he's 6. Killing him is going to be pretty difficult. We want to try to go for the next rune here. We're really low on mana, and we opted out of bottle crowing, so we need to make sure that at the very least we can get to a rune.
That's the last hit. I'm dead. Wait for next.
Alright, so we see the Storm going top. We're going to go for bottom. That's okay. We have to be aware that Sand King could be nearby because he was probably jungling for the better part of the early game. We see orange in the woods here. Our team's nearby. Okay. Can get some EXP. Good stuff.
Pain is the best teacher.
I think a lot of people who play mid tend to overemphasize rotating, and what will end up happening is you'll get farther behind because the enemy, even if the enemy mid stays there as a Storm, he's still getting a lot because he still needs a core item to function. Like that guy's still going to need an Orchid or a Bloodstone before he really is able to do much. So as long as we're rotating off of things that we were already moving for anyway, like getting runes, then those rotations are strong. And also keep in mind that warding is also very key. If you find yourself having a hard time figuring out where you should be, oftentimes that can just be because your warding is not good enough to be able to show you where you should be. Because good warding will almost always enable you to get ganks.
Okay, I got you.
Your
I got
top
it.
tower is under attack.
Alright, so the Storm's MIA.
So the Storm's missing.
Yeah. We don't know where he is, but there's no rune spawning, and we got the illusion, so the only thing that he can have is a bounty. And he's probably bottom. Yeah, he is. Okay. So we're just going to stay here. We don't have a TP. I would probably finish up your treads and just have a TP on you from now on. Cool. And they ended up killing the person that was against you. So we can just free farm at this point. Don't go for denies over CS when you're in a lane by yourself.
Right.
If anything, you just want to constantly like try to push the wave out. Like even auto-attacking at this point is fine. Like we want to punish him for the choice of him going to that lane. So when he goes down there and he dies, it's already bad enough. But if we also apply pressure to the tower by like throwing out a scream and just pushing the wave down and getting free damage in, then it hurts him even more. Because even if it's not like half the health of the tower, he's still going to feel like he has to come back mid because a wave is pushing into his tower. And if he TPs mid, he can't TP anywhere else to gank. And plus now, since we've pushed the wave out, it's 8 minutes in. Our runes have just spawned. We may not have vision, but we know the Storm can't possibly be at either one of them, and now he's just shown himself mid. So just simply by pushing out the wave a tiny bit when that guy left, you got a ton of damage on the tower.
Okay. I see.
But yeah, you just make little small moves like that. It's nothing super complicated. He went down there, we didn't have a TP when he ganked, and we just decided to push the wave instead. And because of this, we're 2-0 right now. We got decent CS. We're not falling behind because we haven't failed any ganks. And everything looks pretty good.
Oh shit, I'm Nidorino!
Hand of God.
Okay, that was really aggressive by him.
It's okay, I bought it, it's okay, it's okay, I bought it.
Well, he didn't have a rune, and he probably used more mana there than you did, so that's fine. I'm not sure why he opted to go for that trade in the first place.
Was that like okay running away? 'Cause that was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that was fine. Like,
anyone else.
when people do stuff like that, it usually makes you think that somebody else is following up.
Yeah.
And since we didn't have a ton of vision of the high ground, it's okay to just play it the passive way. But one other thing, too, that I want you to get into the habit of is clicking on the enemy heroes. Because I don't think you've clicked on that storm once.
No.
Like, that's the first time I've seen his items this entire game. And he has, like, regular boots and soul ring. And if you don't know what the enemy team has, it's very hard to make educated choices on if you can go for a kill. Like, for example, if that guy doesn't have treads and you have your full combo, you can pretty much just flat out kill him if he doesn't dodge anything. And we want to be careful about getting too far out of position, because we don't have any bottle charges. The Clockwork's going for the bottom rune, so we'll probably have to back here. So what you can do is just scream the wave, yep, very good, and then just kill everything and then just go base, because we don't have enough mana to really contest right now.
Okay.
It's all good, dude. You're doing fine.
So do I go Orchid right now, or do I go something else?
Well, the choice is yours. If you want to be more proactive, Orchid is always a good choice. Like, I would very seldom say that Orchid is bad on Queen. So if you want to just have like a core build that you do in most games, going Orchid is perfectly fine.
Nice job, nice job, nice job.
I would buy a second TP before you leave. Okay. Yeah, our Chen's doing a little bit of work here, so our laning phase is pretty easy. All we really had to do was sit mid and get a little bit of farm, but that's okay. Like, as long as we're abusing that fact, it's fine. We didn't overextend, we're just gonna go for the tower. Good stuff.
Structures are fortified. The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
So our Chen momentum is kind of carrying us through the early game here. The storm is mid again, but we can't kill. And again, his tower is dead. So notice a difference just in terms of like the map pressure that you have and how easy it is to tell where people are because you've just simply gotten a tier 1 down. Now I'm not saying it was because of the fact that we just made that one small move, but it did help. And now we know that Sand King's there. I would not blink in, by the way, but we can blink after him if he runs.
The enemy's bottom tower has been denied.
Okay, so we don't want to blink now because we know the storm's coming. He's walking by the ward, and if we blinked in there, we potentially could have died. So now, we don't have to really push our advantage anymore. We can just TP back mid and we can continue our farm.
Your top tower is under
I like the fact that you got another TP. That's a good habit. I like to carry 2 because I'm not always sure if I'm going to be able to get to a place to buy another one, and I don't want to have to abuse the courier to get one, right? So it's just nice to be able to hold them both and then be like, yep, if I get caught out, I can just juke for a while and then I can just TP away. And the reason I told you to TP back mid and not continue pushing is because I want your item progression to remain consistent. I want you to beat that storm to his Orchid. Alright, we're gonna get stunned here. This might be a death. Oh, good silence from the...
Nice, good silence, good silence.
Yeah, that was really good play by the silencer. Saved your butthole. We don't want to fight this, by the way. We are insanely low.
Never hear the end of this.
Okay, we just saw that guy has a Blink Dagger, and we're sitting mid with 500 HP. We are in kill range right now, just so you know. The Chen has heal, but trusting in your teammate right now is, like the silencer, it was worth trusting him, but I would not have trusted him to save me there. So we kind of lucked out. Alright, so our Chen's sitting behind us. We should be okay to farm. Unless we get hit by Stray Harass, then it's kind of spooky. I wouldn't try to contest a rune, no. I would just go back to base. Like, sitting at half health with no mana. Since nothing's really happening on the map right now, your LC's going for a solo kill on the Storm. Not sure if he's going to get it, but yep, he did. Okay. Neato. But because you guys are consistently getting kills on the map, there's not really a whole lot of pressure going your way. So going back to base is actually fine, because you're not needed anywhere right now, and just being able to have full health when you commit to a team fight can be the difference between dying and not dying. And again, I want you to make sure that you're always getting farms somewhere, no matter where it is. So if you want to, I would probably, yep, TP mid, that's good. No. Alright, he's fine. Okay, he's got a regen, doesn't have a wand. Should be fine here. He might even be able to turn. Oh, I think he got away. Yeah, it's okay. I know what you wanted to do. You wanted to go for the kill. If you had waited like another 2 seconds and dropped both of your spells at the same time, you would have been able to kill him, but you staggered your spells enough to a point where he was able to get away.
Be careful top. I'll miss
Yeah.
it.
That's
I
okay
thought
though.
the ult would kill him at that point though. He looked low enough, but I guess not.
Well, that's why it comes in handy to click on heroes all the time, because then we don't have to guess. We don't have to say, I think it would have killed him. We could say, I know it's going to kill him, because he has this amount of health, and my ulti does pure damage, so I don't even have to do a magic resistance calculation. I just say, boom, he's dead, if he's below like 290 health. But we just want to keep trying to farm. A lot of people are moving around the map right now. Like, there's been a lot of people mid. So when that happens, it means even if you feel like you're not farming quickly, always keep in mind that the enemy team, the more they move, the less they are farming too. So just because our Orchid isn't at like 15 minutes exactly doesn't mean we're having a bad game. It just means that the enemy team has moved around a lot and has tried to apply pressure to multiple lanes. But we still haven't even lost a tower. And now we're going for a smoke ink on this Slark, and it could work.
Ready? I'm an ultim. I'm ulting. I'm ulting.
Yeah, okay. He wants to go for the burst. So close. Get him. Nice.
Nice.
Vile apostates.
Oh, I misskilled.
Spread out.
Ah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Foolish. We gotta be careful here.
Your ulti is not even going to be up for a while anyway, so it's like whatever.
Yeah.
You got your Chen push going on. I would be very concerned about Epi right now. That's the one big teamfight utility they have, so let's just go ahead and stay on strength treads for a while.
Spread out. Spread out. Spread out.
Your Chen does not have a mech, by the way. He only has his heal, so we don't have global either.
A healing hand.
So at this point, it's becoming fairly obvious that this push is not going to work, so I want you to just TP to the safe lane. Or never mind, the sniper's already going there.
I don't want to fight into the SK.
Alright, so we can just try to find some jungle farm. We have a ward, so we know if they're coming towards us. We can play it a bit greedy.
Oh, okay. Either way, it's 4 bottom, so.
I would probably just make your way to the woods right now and just continue farming. Like, we're not in a huge hurry to try to push into their tower. Our team is doing quite well, so there's not really any rush. As long as our item progression is still ahead of the storms and we get an Orchid at a decent timing, like even 20 minutes is fine, just to be able to finish the item, then we can still have some good presence.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Just to quickly address a question in chat that popped up, I'm not talking about tread toggling, I'm just talking about the active choice to make sure that your treads are on strength when you feel like you're going to fight. Very seldom is it better to have your treads on anything but strength when you are assuming that an engagement will happen. So that's why I told him to do it. Not because I want him to be into the habit of doing it all the time, but just because I want him to think about it when he's going to push in. It's like I should have the most amount of survivability possible at this point in the game, if I'm going to be pushing into a tier 2 against like Sand King and a Storm, for example. So we can just scream to push this out.
Damn it.
Ah, it's all good. I would just go keep farming. Like, don't worry about what they're doing. If they start to overcommit to a push, you can just look at the mini-map while you're farming the woods and be like, okay, now I can TP, like if they're going for a dive. But since their team is really far behind, I want you to focus less on trying to kill them right now and more on just making sure you get to your item. That's the one key, is because when people get ahead in Dota, they have a tendency to play YOLO. And playing YOLO in this patch is not good. It is terrible to play YOLO. Because if you die, and you don't get to your item, and you give the enemy team like 1500 golden experience for dying, things get out of hand very, very quickly for you.
Let's do it.
So rather than make a choice like going down there when you think that you can find a fight and potentially blinking in and dying, instead of finishing up an Orchid can have pretty big ramifications on your overall game plan.
Let's
Yeah, I think I get to that habit of like, oh, I need to start ganking more and grouping up and fighting, and then my farm drops.
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple
Yeah,
of patches, that kind of mentality is good to have, because the rubber band mechanics weren't as severe. So even if you were playing YOLO and you died a few times, it didn't feel like the game was unwinnable at that point. It just felt like your momentum had shifted a tiny bit. But nowadays, it's like, okay, we're ahead. We died once, and then we can't do shit. But look at the enemy team. They're nowhere on the map. They're not pressuring anything.
They were bot.
So this whole time, they're not farming. If they're sitting like 3 or 4 heroes in a lane, just farming one creep wave, and you're sitting here farming the jungle the whole time, like rotating between camps, then you've pretty much out-efficiency'd them. Like that's all we're doing right now, is we're trying to be more efficient than the enemy team. And we only need about 200 more gold. I would not farm a lane right now. I would just stay in the woods.
No, I'm just, yeah.
You can continue farming. You could probably stack this camp too.
Oh, I forgot that was fast. Oh.
No, it's okay.
Cool, guys.
Yeah, you got it still. So once you kill this, you'll be really close to Orchid, and then you can just go base, finish your item, and then we'll assess and see if we can go for a kill.
Where's our quap at, man? Oh my god, he's still farming? What the fuck?
Don't worry about that guy. Just ignore him. Alright, so we can maybe kill the large camp and then base.
Your top tower is under attack.
So when you get your Orchid, you just go to base and you can help your team out from there.
Your top tower is under
Alright,
attack.
cool. So we got our item.
Alright, I'm back, and we don't have a quap here. Going
Your
top.
top tower is
The
under
other thing
attack.
too, and the reason why I'm telling you to play this way, is because you have Global Silence, which crushes their lineup really hard. You have a sniper on your team, and you have LC for late game as well. So really the only way you're going to lose this game is if your team decides to go YOLO without you. And we
Mike's are doing
should be able to clean up here. Yeah, but there's one top, so you can actually just kill this guy. Watch the blade mail. Alright, he's going to TP out. Does he have net? Oh man, that was ballsy, ulting into the blade mail. There was pretty much a 0% chance of getting a kill there, unless he netted. And he did not net, so I probably would have held my ulti there. Even if it was level 2, you still wouldn't have killed him.
Oh, it's only level 1 still.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even if it was level 2, you still would not have killed him with that.
Shouldn't even be here.
No, you're fine. You can stay there.
Oh no.
They didn't have vision in their woods, like by the way they moved. Like that Sand King went straight back to base, as opposed to farming a camp. So by player posturing, we can just deduce that there was probably no vision, because the player who can see you will always play it as greedy as possible to make sure that they don't have to lose out on their own efficiency, even if you're playing a little bit aggressive. But because he went straight back and didn't even try to check if anybody was still there, it's just like the play makes you feel like he couldn't see anything. And when you know that, you can say, oh, I can just stand here and kill this extra camp. And if you make that decision, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times more a game, you can have an extra like 1,000 gold just in your inventory from making that choice actively.
I bait, let's go. I bait the Reno. Never mind.
So now that we have our Orchid up, the primary Orchid timing is we're going to try to go for probably the Storm, or we're going to look for the Sand King. Because even if we have a Silencer on our team, there's no guarantee that we could always see the Sand King for when the Epi's coming out, and in that case the Global is worthless because we don't actually know if he's going to be Epiing or not. And Global is used as a spell that's either preventative or reactive, and in this case we want it to be a preventative measure. So we can also start the fight for us, hope that that guy Globals, which right now he doesn't have it, so we have to be aware of that. But for the most part, we're actually doing quite well. Okay, that's a really ballsy blink, but it's going to be fine. Good stuff. Don't continue chasing this, just back. Okay, so the Slark was bottom, but we had no idea where the Sand King was, and we had no idea where the Clockwork was.
No SK, no SK.
And we have 800 HP,
Your bottom tower
so
is
we
under
just blinked
attack.
in blind, more or less. Alright, we just want to back here.
Your bottom tower is
Just
under
blink
attack.
outside of the base. Because that is like a terrible fight. They're going to get one kill, but we don't want to put ourselves in a
Your
position to
bottom
die.
tower is under attack.
Wait for the Dark Pact before you Orchid that guy. Okay, he got sent home.
Oh no, let's get of
You
here,
guys
boys.
didn't lose anyone. You should be able to just TP bottom or something to farm. Like, you don't want to continue fighting this, so we want to TP to a lane. You're getting a bit over-aggressive with your blinks, and you guys do have an advantage, but you don't have such an advantage that blinking into a base blind is gonna be okay.
Okay.
What you can do, if you want to be safe, is you can just go for BKB, if you want to play that way. Like, if you want to try to go in and lead and have your team like follow you up with global and channel T, then BKB is probably the right choice. Otherwise, I would probably just go for the standard Aghanims build.
Alright, I kind of want to get out of the habit of doing that because that's...
I mean, those blinks were like crazy fucking YOLO. Like, I would have never fucking blinked like that if I was sitting there.
Blade on Slark.
Because from my perspective, it's a needless risk. And the reason I feel that way is because we were getting that tower no matter what. That storm had been brought down to like, I don't know what, 40% HP at the beginning of the fight. There's no way he's committing. We saw the Slark bottom, so he wasn't even TPing to try to defend, which already tells us from where the players are that, hey, this tower is free. I don't need to try to go for an extra play at the risk of losing my own life. Like, that is never worth it in this patch. Just always, always make sure we're thinking about why we're going for the kill before we decide to just go completely ham. Like, I looked at your minimap and I had a ton of lack of information, and I was very unsure if that blink was going to get you killed or not. And that in of itself is a problem. We want to be looking top, though, because our team is dying. And we could potentially turn this. Now, this is a fight we want to look to chase. That guy doesn't have his thing up, though. Okay. So the Clockwork's bottom. The Sand King's there, though. We have vision of him. Can we check the Storm's items so we have vision? Okay, so we still don't know if the Storm has Orchid because we didn't click on him. And we know the Sand King has Blink, but not much else. And the Clock was also bottom, and we also don't know what he has other than a Blade Mail because he used it earlier.
I think we should rush.
Slark.
Yeah, okay, so he's got Shadow Blade and Minus. And I understand the whole nervousness thing, by the way. It's perfectly fine. I'm just saying these things so that you realize it and so that you can apply it to your play, maybe when it's not very difficult that I'm talking to you at the same time.
Yeah, I understand.
We can just hit the tower for free here. We don't have to play so far back. Or we can help that guy. Nice global. Good ulti. That guy's really tanky. Alright, so we are not going to be able to kill him. We should probably just retreat here. We don't have our LC. And we don't have our sniper either. Blinking back in here is super risk. Alright. You're going to get away with it. That's good. If you had waited for your Orchid to be up... Okay, now we die. Nope. Wow, that's level 1 pull. Jesus Christ. And he missed. Wow. Okay. So a couple of things.
Okay. I went YOLO again.
You went super fucking YOLO. Now, I would have been okay with the play had you immediately Orchided the Wind Ranger when you blinked in, but you didn't. Because the only hero that can disable you, since we know that Clockwork Hook was down, we know that the Clockwork had already cogged as well, is Shackle, right? And since we blinked in to go for the Slark kill, there's like a very high probability that walking to the right without having used Orchid on the Wind Ranger would have resulted in us being shackled very soon. Or maybe the Storm has more than 1 point into his pull. So the fact that you lived there is ridiculous. Like, you should have actually been dead as fuck. But for some reason, that Storm only has 1 pull. So I don't want you to think that that was the right call, because that was a fucking manly-ass blink.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, if you're gonna go for the flashy plays, at least make sure that you're gonna, like, disable the person who can fuck you over. Like, that's the thing that I want you to remember. Like, before you blink in, you should have a game plan of, I need to Orchid this guy so I don't get fucked over, then I scream, then I hit this guy once, and then I run.
Get that dick. No one get that haste rune. Why did Quap not get that haste rune? Like, what? Okay, I'll take
I
that.
didn't see the history.
Ah, it's alright. Don't worry about it.
like a shot.
Oh shit, my bad.
Okay, so we're like 1,300 away from finishing up our Aghanims. That's not too bad. We can keep pushing here too. We're going to assume that they're going to try to defend. Oh, but they have no Sand King. Our LC just got a solo kill. That's really good. You guys can actually just get this tower for free now. It would probably be better to just go for the tier 2 and then the tier 2 mid, but high ground is a bit risky since he's only dead for 30 seconds.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Probably need to go BKB this game.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Alright, so Sand King's going to be up in 5. We can pretty much be sure that that guy doesn't have an Orchid because I think with the amount of health that he has that he went Bloodstone. And he doesn't even have it yet. So, even though we made a lot of yellow plays this game, we're doing quite well. You're standing way too close, by the way. There you go.
I misclicked.
That's better, yeah. Okay, Sand King's going to be coming in here, so we don't want to try to blink in.
The enemy's bottom
We just
tower
want to try
has
to
fallen.
not die to the Sand King. We got the racks. We don't need to get anything else right now. So don't go back in until you see an opportunity. Like that. That is a good opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. He's dead anyway, even if you miss a scream. So your Orchid was good. And now they have no Sand King. So life is good. Our sniper is peeping. We could probably aggro blink here if we want to. Okay, we we blinked right into it, bounce. That's okay. Your Orchid's back up though. Nice, good. Good target priority. Very nicely done.
The enemy's bottom barracks
Okay, now we run.
has fallen.
We don't lollygag. We're not killing that guy. We can just back out. The Slark has also bought back. We have enough for our Aghanims. We got the racks. We killed some heroes. We're good.
Kill Sassel.
Okay, we have bailed, but that's fine. I'm not even upset about that TP. Might have been able to kill the Slark, but
Did we turn? I think we just turned, right?
your sniper's going ham anyway.
Oh shit. Ah shit! I just got peeped! I just got peeped!
Jesus, this pink player. So loud and obnoxious. What a player. Alright, they solo epi that guy. Good stuff. He might be dead to just that damage. Yep.
Did you forget
Alright,
your
cool.
safe word?
So your Orchid priority is really nice. Like when you Orchided the Sand King when he blinked in. I know some of that stuff seems obvious, but it's good to know like what you're doing right and the stuff that you need to work on and the difference between the two. So the only glaring issue I see is that you don't ever check items, which can end up backfiring really hard because we never knew
Yeah.
what the Orchid was even, or the Storm was even going for. Like we didn't have a fucking clue what that guy had in his inventory until like level 8. That is not acceptable. That needs to change. The other thing is that we oftentimes blink aggressively and we don't actually know what we're fighting. Like it's very fortunate for you that you had Global Silence on your team because had you not, this game could have been very easily turned around. The other stuff is kind of minor, like just being able to position yourself a little bit better in lane, knowing when to trade, when not to trade, and just being able to farm a bit better.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that you're being coached, so you probably see us in lane better than normal, or at least than you do in this game because of the extra pressure, but I'm not really too concerned about that stuff. You seem to have a pretty good idea of what you can do in lane, so that's fine. That's typically the way that most players develop is they'll become good laners before they actually become like good decision makers. They just know how to beat people, and they don't even know how they do it. They just do, which is always kind of funny to me. But I like this getting the free damage on the tower. That's good. Should not tank it though. Kappa.
A team that plays together wins together, guys.
Alright, we got a duel going on over here.
That could have been us. Look at their team. That could have been us.
That was almost the biggest secure I've ever seen, I think.
The
Stalk
enemy's
myself.
middle tower
It's
has
tempting.
Oh,
fallen.
I would have jacked it. Are you kidding me? Fuck that. When I'm playing mid, I steal kills.
Over here now.
What a global.
On my way, boys.
Yeah, we're grouping up for an epi right now, so.
Yeah, it's a bit spooky. I mean, you can see the Sand King. That's a nice thing about having the lane dead, is since the creeps are always pushing in. Oh, that was such a good Orchid. That was good. Well played. And he missed his hook. Alright. That was well done. Bravo.
I scream bloody murder.
Alright. I believe we have won the game.
Nice, yo, nice LC, bro. You got some pretty good duels off this game.
The enemy's middle barracks. The enemy's middle barracks has fallen. The enemy's middle
Get
tower
that dick.
has fallen.
Fuck.
I saw you trying for that Orchid so hard. It's okay though.
Guys want dive
The
arena?
enemy's middle tower.
I mean, everything considered, the only thing that I needed to constantly remind you of was not just going so fucking ham. That was the only problem that I saw.
Yeah.
Is I want you to tell me though, why do you think you do that? Like, do you feel like you need to go for the kill? Because I can promise you that the rubber band mechanic is way worse than you think it is. And if you actually go in and you give away, like for instance top, if you had died, or when you blinked in to kill the Slark, those deaths would have hurt really fucking bad. I promise you.
Right. I don't know. I just feel like I have to go in. Like I have to contribute instead of like walking away.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, the
I
biggest
just
trap.
feel like I should be contributing in some way.
Yeah. I think the biggest trap that a lot of people get pulled into is they think, I'm playing the mid, I'm playing the impact hero, I always have to go in. That's totally untrue. Like, I want you to break that mentality. If you walk away from the next game or the previous game with anything, is that if I'm playing a core hero, which Queen is a core, doesn't matter what mid you are, you're always a high position hero, is that you cannot let yourself get pulled into stupid fights, because you have to be the constant. You have to be the one who's not giving away retarded kills, who always has good farm, because when it comes down to it, and you decide that you need to fight, and that's going to be the right call, you're going to have everything at your disposal to be able to win that fight, because you didn't fuck up, you didn't die, you have good farm, and you'll be able to have a much larger impact by making the right choice at the right time, not just going in YOLO and blinking and being like, oh, my team's pushing, we should totally go for this extra kill, when we don't fucking see anybody, right? Like,
Right. Okay.
those are the big keys. Alright, so you ready for another game?
Yeah.
Alright, so after these two games, the replay from the first one should be available, and we'll go through it
Right.
together, and then that will likely be the end of our time together.
All right. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And if you have any
Good.
questions, feel free to ask, by the way. I know I'm talking a lot at you. But,
No, it's helpful because yeah, like I said, I just like do things without thinking it, and then use like emphasizing what I needed to like think about before making those decisions is really helpful.
the best thing that helped me was when I first started, like, really trying to improve as a Dota player, is I always tried to tell myself in my head, what are the heroes that I need to watch out for? What heroes have timings that are going to influence the way that I have to play the game? So, for instance, if the Storm had gone Orchid, and you didn't have good item progression, for example, like say you died a few times, if that Storm has Orchid, all of a sudden, you can't really freely farm lanes anymore. He has the capability of solo killing you, which obviously changes the way that you have to play the game. So small stuff like that can help you decide, okay, I need to pressure this guy early, or I need to sit mid and farm because my team has better mid game anyway. There's a lot of things that influence my decision making throughout the game, and most of it is just taking the time to ask myself, what heroes fuck me over in this game? And then trying to figure out how I can best avoid that situation from ever happening.
Okay.
So the heroes that would have fucked you in last game, Sand King, situationally, if he got a good epi on you and a stun, because his stun's instant, and since we didn't gank, we knew that his jungle would be pretty fast. Like, he's not interrupted. He'll probably have blink in like a 6k game at like 8 or 9 minutes, okay?
Right.
Now, in those games, we have to be constantly aware of that. And he did try to gank us twice mid, but they both failed, so that was lucky. But in real games, we have to assume that those ganks won't fail, and it could potentially just flat out kill us. So itemization timing's also important, which is why I was getting on your ass about clicking on people, because I want to know what the fuck they have, so I can tell
Okay.
what's going to happen to me at any given point.
Right. Okay, I gotcha.
And again, I get the whole nervous thing. That's fine. Like, if you make a mistake and you miss a CS, I'm not going to flame you over it. It's perfectly okay. Even the miss skill, fuck, I've done that like 100 times. I always do it on Queen too, because I want my last rank a blink, and I fucking put it into that instead of my ulti. So, stuff like that, we're not here to talk about. We're just here to try to improve your overall game sense and mentality.
Oops.
Ba, ba, ba. I'm the carry. Alright. We have decided that he is the carry. We're gonna go Queen 2 times, or what's our game plan here?
Yeah, that'd be nice to keep it consistent.
Okay, cool. It's totally up to you, by the way. I was just curious.
Yeah, I think keeping it the same would be helpful for me.
Alright. Cool beans. Hopefully we get another favorable matchup. If not, I mean, Queen kind of beats a lot of stuff, so.
Is he really jungling Necrolite?
Hey, man. Gotta believe. Wow, you are seriously so lucky that guy repicked on me. Like, I don't understand. That last game, who doesn't have more than 1 point into pull that late into the game?
I don't know.
I don't know. That was nuts.
Save my ass though.
Oh, by the way, to the people in chat, I'm not planning on recording all of my streaming, or not recording all of my coaching lessons, I mean. I wanted to have like 1 or 2 on highlights so people could have some kind of idea of what the coaching would be like, so I could have something to link them to if they ever wanted to see what it was. And that way they can justify...
Support Necrolite.
Yeah, they could justify if they think it's worth the cost or not. Anyway.
10 seconds remaining.
Alright, so we're against a Viper. So this matchup is a huge pain in the dick.
Right.
Mainly because we don't really ever want to Shadow Strike him. Doesn't mean we're not going to skill it, just means we're not going to use it in the lane that much. So usually what I do is if I'm against him, I go the standard null and I go for tangos, but I don't trade with him after like level 2 or 3. I just will not fucking trade. We're going to go for CS, we're going to scream the wave down to try to go for runes, and we're going to try to not hit him with it. So that way we can just go to runes and we'll be fine. Now they have a Spirit Breaker, which is turbo annoying, which means we want to keep our aggressive blinking to a minimum, just like last game. Yeah. Wisp Sven, it's not really a huge concern for us. We'll probably get Lincolns at some point this game, looking at their lineup. It does so much work against their heroes. Like, it stops charge, it stops Sven stun, it stops Viper ulti as well. Those are 3 really, really good spells that you don't want to get hit by.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to go at first.
Second item or?
Yeah, probably second item. Like, we don't ever want to go first item Lincolns, but it is something to keep in mind against their heroes.
Now is this like Aghanim first item, because the silence doesn't seem to really do.
So Aghanim's first is kind of a double-edged sword. It can be great if your team is fighting, but it can be really bad if you just buy it and nothing happens because it doesn't give you any mana regen. It solely increases survivability. So when we get a little bit later into the game and we have a good idea of what the overall gameplay is going to feel like if they're playing hyper-aggressive or something like that, then we can decide if we want to go for that item. If not, we can go back for something that still gives us regen, aka the Orchid, which is still great for killing the Wisp, and it's still great for being able to stop spells from being cast, like against Spirit Breaker or even stopping a Sven stun. It has its use, although it won't be as good as it was in the last game.
No.
So let's just try to hit the Viper once to dictate what skill build he has. Most people get Nether Toxin at level 1. Okay, he has Poison Attack. So that means we can dagger here. We just have to be very careful about making subpar trades.
That was not...
Yeah. We shouldn't have turned to go for the CS so early. It was kind of my fault, though, because I think when I told you to dagger, your brain just said, go do it right now. And what I should have done is waited like half a second to tell you to do it, because that way it would have been more intuitive, but yeah. So we just want to try to get one more hit on him to make sure that he doesn't have corrosive. If he doesn't, we'll just try to go for another dagger. And do that, obviously, when it's to your advantage. Okay, so he does have corrosive, which means we're not going to be daggering anymore. We're going to leave it at 1, and then we're just going to max scream.
First blood.
It's still good to have the value point into dagger, though, because it can secure you ganks, and that's really what we care about on Queen. The nice thing about this matchup for you, though, is that Viper is a very bad counter ganker and a very bad ganker unless he gets a good rune. We can abuse that fact, and we can be hyperactive during the mid game and trying to make stuff happen, where the Viper will kind of just be sitting and doing his own thing. So, similar to what you did against the Storm, this guy is probably going to do to you when you try to go gank. Luckily, Viper sucks ass at pushing out the lane, and he doesn't really hit towers very hard either, so we kind of have the advantage there. Viper might be a pain in the ass to harass out of the lane, but our goal is to secure our early game farm, get our bottle, get our wand, get our treads, and then try to make plays happen from there. Yeah, Nether Toxin works on towers, but it's very uncommon for Viper players to max that, especially if you're not giving them, if you're not giving them just like total free farm. Like, people won't put extra points in Nether Toxin early. Like, some people might go 1-3-1, but it's very uncommon. So we just want to keep ourselves topped off with HP. It's okay for him to hit you a couple of times, as long as you're not dropping below like half. We're still farming okay. We got our bottle money right now. Once we get our third point into Scream, we can start pressuring the wave a bit. And again, I want you to really focus on not trying to hit him with it. Any damage that we take is bad damage right now, if we're against this hero. Especially if we ever get a gank. But I don't think that's going to happen for a while, because our off lane is a dual off lane. So our Clockwork is going to have a delayed 6. Which means, kind of like last game, we're left to our own devices here. We're just relying solely on our mechanics right now to win the lane.
Should I be going for like the rune right now, since...
If you're going to, you can start making some trades, because you have a full bottle. And like you can just dagger him and like scream and stuff and then blink away if you want, because you're like level 5. The thing is, if you go for the rune now, which is still okay, I just want you to realize that you've wasted pretty much an entire bottle worth of regen that you could have made him trade with you. Because if you click on him right now, we still don't know what he has. So what items did he come to lane with? He has 4 tangos. So if we have a full bottle and a tango, we can justify making that trade by the fact that we are guaranteed going to get that rune, since there's 3 people top right now, and only 1 bottom. And the Clockwork clearly wasn't going to take it. So by making that trade, we put him in a worse position in the overall laning phase, and we also allow ourselves to get just more efficiency out of the bottle itself, which in the end would have been the better thing to do. But it's okay that you didn't realize it like right away. Like, it took me a long time to get myself to do that. You there? I can't pause the game. Okay.
Alright, whatever.
You like lagging out or something?
No, my fucking cat.
Okay. So we still have a full bottle here. We can probably make some trades. I would just use Scream and not Dagger, though. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I just mean, like, when you walk up to Scream for CS, try to hit him, too. And then you can, like, blink away. That's a good way to get damage in without making a bad trade. And his corrosive skin is hitting us for 10 damage, so we know it's a lower level, so that's not too bad. He probably is actually maxing Nether Toxin, which is fairly uncommon.
Bottom is missing.
But he probably did it because you weren't harassing him. But that's still okay. So we got 10 seconds till the rune spawns. I would probably go for top right now, but I would walk there and save my blink and also scream this wave. Alright, he's already gone, so he's definitely going for it. Oh dear.
Terrible.
Yeah, we should have got all those, but it's okay. No worries. And we don't know what he got, but we'll assume it's bounty, because that guy got invis, yeah. Alright, so our clock is thinking about ganking here, but I don't think he'll gank Viper. It's very hard to kill.
He's going
Yeah.
top.
Okay, so the next thing I want you to focus on, so we're going to get 8 or 7, probably. We want max Scream, at the very least. We're going to buy boots, a wand, and a TP, and we're going to try to gank top when they're going aggro. Like, obviously, staying in this lane in the long run is not going to yield much of a benefit to us, because this guy is maxing out Nether Toxin, which means that he'll probably end up being able to just out-CS us after some time. There you go. That's the kind of trade I like to see. Alright, he put another point into corrosive. But yeah, you want to just make sure you have all that stuff available. Your team is doing really well on lanes, so we want to try to give him more of an advantage that we didn't have before, maybe. Nice blink. Alright, we popped our bottle a tiny bit early. That's okay. You might want to, like, kick your cat out of the room or something.
I did.
Okay. I knew as soon as you went AFK that was your cat again.
He doesn't usually get that, like, pain in the ass.
I notice you're shorting your blinks a lot. Is there any particular reason, or are you just, like, not doing it intentionally?
I'm not doing it intentionally.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna wait out the bottom rune here, because we definitely need the regen. You could have also bought your belt of Giant Strength while you were... We don't want to go back mid right now. We want to be 100% sure we get the rune. Go back. Don't go for that. We need the rune right now. We do not want to have to go back to base. Oh my god, the rune gods smile upon you. Alright, our team is, like, crushing everyone. The dream is real.
Middle tower is under attack.
Okay. So here's the point in the game where we need to start making decisions as what we want to go. Our team is owning, quite frankly. We see the Viper has gone to top. If he keeps going, we can TP to the tier 2, but I doubt it. He probably won't continue chasing. So he just wasted his time, right? So this whole early game, we've been kind of struggling, because it's Viper versus Queen. And we haven't really gotten any decent farm, but he left the lane. So now all of a sudden we get like a free wave, we get some free damage in the tower, and with no real commitment of our own, we just sat there and we waited for them to make a move. Now, abusing the fact that your team is doing well is not a bad play. Like, just being able to, like, just sit there and accumulate more farm because our team is owning. That's actually what you want to do, is push your advantage. And now that guy felt like he had to try to help his teammates because the side lanes are going so unbelievably bad. We don't have to do that. We can just sit mid. It's perfectly fine. Like, if our team is crushing this hard, like 9 kill advantage at 9 minutes, well, I guess it's 8 now, but if we have this type of advantage, it's definitely okay to just sit here. And they're getting another kill, so all things considered, you can just kind of sit here. Alright, he's TPing again. We don't know where he TP'd though. We heard the noise, but we can... Okay, looks like the sniper was watching, so he knows that he's top. But again, he left, so we can just go to int treads. Rune's going to be spawning soon. Do you want to shove this out? You don't go max dagger against Viper. It's really bad. Okay, he has shown in lane on the Visage. We want to try to get some damage in the tower here. We probably won't get top rune, but we can get bottom, I think, for sure. The Viper is walking back. Okay, the Viper's top, so we can actually take top rune as well if we want to play it like Ultra Greed. And that guy is super dead. Your team's TPing though. We might want to think about grabbing the rune and helping them. We can actually just walk up here, I think, and probably get a kill.
Your top tower is under attack.
Oh, he walked away.
Yeah, he hooked the bird too. Wasn't great.
Your top tower
Nice.
is
Should be able
under
to get this kill pretty easily. Okay, nice.
attack. Your top tower is under attack.
So obviously the ulti didn't hit anything. That was kind of a bummer. But everything else was fine. We still ended up getting 1 kill, and that's okay. We just wanted to make sure that the tier 1 didn't get sieged for no reason. Like if they're going to commit that heavily in tower dive, those are the times where it's most opportune to try to TP in. The TP was kind of a 50-50 because already 2 people had gone in. There was a good chance that your TP would have taken so long that you probably wouldn't have even got there in time and you would have had to use your blink to get in range anyway. What I likely would have done is just walked all the way through the river towards the direction of the tier 1 instead of committing my blink, because that always leaves me an escape avenue. Like there are 2 familiars there. There's a good chance that I can get stunned and maybe I get bursted or something like that. Like you don't know 100%. Like the Viper ditched, but we didn't know if he was like... I don't think he died, did he? Oh, he did die. Okay, never mind. He died. So actually it was fine. But unless you're totally positive you're not going to die, I'm very stingy with my blinks on Queen. Now that guy's going to get the rune, and you won't have a ton of mana to be able to fight here. Oh no, he walked past it, but I think he'll go back for it now. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot I can draw on the map. I could have just showed you that way.
Oh yeah.
The Viper will probably be coming here, but again, we can just get bottom rune for free, because we know that we don't have anybody down there from the enemy team who's going to take it. And I don't believe that Zeus is going to take it either, because he doesn't have a bottle. Oh wait, somebody did get it. Bastards. Alright, so we're pretty low on the mana front right now. We should probably just push this wave out and go get mana back, because we can't fight right now.
So what should I be going for right now?
I
don't know
think
what to get.
if you're just going to keep playing this way, that going for Orchid is actually fine. Because you want the regen, right? Like if we're going to be playing greedy, we need something that's going to keep us sustainable. We don't want to just have to run out of mana and go back to base, because that's not efficient play. The biggest thing that I try to ingrain into people that I coach is continue farming all the time. Like if you feel like you can farm, just fucking farm, because there's a good chance that any like team fight that happens, you can counter gank and be just as effective as anybody else is in the game. And luckily for us, we haven't really had too many like fights where we felt like we were necessary yet, so we can just make sure that our farm is still okay. And we also have a fairly good team against their heroes. We could check the Viper's items too.
Do you just smoke on?
Damn, that damage.
You plagued me
Woo, that was close. So again, we blinked in very close. I want you to get into the habit of blinking at like the absolute max distance away from the heroes.
I blinked on him again.
Yeah. I mean, for him, it's not as big of a deal because he can still attack you from range. But think of being farther away from the tier 1 and the implications of somebody TPing in and not being able to reach you as quickly. Like stuff like that sounds very minor, but it's a good habit to be into to not put yourself in a very dangerous position with your blink if you can help it. Because if we're going Orchid, again, our strength gain is awful on Queen, so we're not really going to be able to do a ton
is under attack.
if we blink in and we get caught. So
Your top tower is under attack.
alright, so there's some relocating going on. We can't really help that, so just continue your CS acquiring.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They'll probably end up dewarding that too at some point. Oh god, the bash.
The enemy's
That's okay,
bottom
though, we got a
tower
regen.
has fallen.
We can just chill and wait until that thing wears off, and then we can just be back at full HP. We can click him too while we have the chance. See what he has.
Earn treads.
Yeah, okay. My thing's bugged out for some reason. I'm not seeing what you're clicking on. Maybe if I reset it, it will work. Ah, there we go.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Okay, they're pushing mid.
Dire
We could probably just stay
structures
top
are
for the time being.
fortified.
When you see somebody pressuring, I like the
Your middle
mentality you
tower
had right
is
there.
under
Just
attack.
immediately counter push. Try to spam out the wave. And this is another reason why the mana regen is
Your
important.
middle tower
Because
has
when you make
fallen.
choices like that. Now, Spearbreaker is
Radiant
probably charging us
structures
right
are
now. As he just
fortified.
walked past the top vision spot that we had. Or we should at least assume that, because he was walking up towards us, and we want to make sure that we're not going to get ganked. So we know we're okay now. We have killed the bottom lane. Okay, so we checked 2 heroes there. Visage did not have a TP. And I didn't actually get a chance to see the other hero, because he did it quite quickly. But if you know that neither of them have a TP, or one does and one doesn't, okay, we're gonna pressure tower here. We could TP, but we're not sure if it's gonna result in a kill or not. So we'll just hit the building. Okay, that was a very defensive blink. We probably could have gotten some good damage on him. Might have even been able to kill if we had just committed without having used blink.
Okay.
Because since he already had used Grave Chill on the Necrolite, he wanted to try to go for him. And if there's no Grave Chill, there's a very small chance that he'll be able to deal any meaningful damage to you during that time. And if you had clicked him a few more times and had ulti, I think he would have just died. So I would actually call that a miskill.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, everyone's missing right now except for the Breaker. But we have a clock TPing. We have a lane ward, so we might be able to get away
Your
with a
top
greedy
tower
blink here.
has been denied.
But we want to make sure the clock is in range, and I don't think his ulti is up yet right now anyway. Good stuff. Okay, we blinked on him again. You did not even need to blink there, just so you know. Because if the clock lands the hook,
Your
there's
bottom
no
tower
way
is
for him
under
to get out of those cogs. Like,
Right.
literally no way. I'm not saying that it was a bad call because you would have died. I'm just saying it's a bad call because it's not a good habit.
The enemy's top
It's
tower
yeah,
has
I
fallen.
understand. It's just like I think of the scream and I'm not used to right now the range of it.
Yeah.
So I think I gotta get as close as I can or I'll miss it.
Yeah.
I think I'm not like
Radiant
confident enough
structures
in
are fortified.
like hitting it, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay. What you can do is if you just host like a practice lobby, turn on WTF mode, you can just spam screams until you get accustomed to how it feels, and then you can use that to judge your range, and then you don't have to feel this sense of obligation that, oh god, if I'm not right on top of them, I'm gonna fucking miss, because that's not a good feeling. It's just
Right.
you're not as familiar with the hero as you would like to be, and that'll change with just playing more games.
Yeah.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Alright, so we got our Orchid, our Zeus has Aghanims. We got a good amount of map pressure going on right now.
Your middle
You could
tower
probably
is
just
under
end up going
attack.
the same build as last game. You do need health against Visage, as Medallion takes you to minus armor right now with only 5.
Right.
He kind of beats the shit out of you. So we want to be sure we're going to get some tankiness going for ourselves after that. And plus the Spirit Breaker, like the reason I wouldn't just go for armor is because they have a lot of magical damage as well. And if a Spirit Breaker catches you out into chain stun, like an armor item won't save you from that. And it won't save you from the Viper or the Visage. So, alright, there's some team fighting going on over here. Our hook has been missed.
I go out. Guns blazing. My voice
I would not dagger him.
works. It's magic.
We got the Orchid off though. Nice ulti.
Do it with flair.
We can blink. Oh, we waited a little bit too long. Yeah. It was really close. I liked that you held on to it for so long, but I actually would have blinked into the river behind them, because that puts us in a position where we can see everything that's happening, and the relocate was popping up right on top of you. So if the Spirit Breaker charges, at the very least he's going away from the rest of your team. And we would have been able to, maybe not live, but it would have been a better position for us to be in. Because everyone had pretty much already committed to the fight who was there. And the relocate would have been on the opposite side of the team fight.
Uh-huh. Alrighty.
Yeah, it's okay though. That was just kind of a clusterfuck, in all honesty. It's just a full 5-man fight. Ah, he's got a Dagon, okay. So when things kind of die down, it's okay to just go back to the farming game. Lincolns might still be okay for us right now, as well. We don't necessarily have to go for Aghanims. Lincolns would pretty much make the Spirit Breaker a non-factor to us, which can be really nice,
Right.
because that way we don't have that situation that just happened, where he charges us and we just instantly die. So Lincolns could be the play here, just to be a little bit harder to focus down. Oh, we are getting charged. And he has Dagon. Ouch.
World of hurt.
Level 2.
Yeah, the zapping is real. I think the sniper might have him though. Maybe? Oh, 47 health. Wow, he smoked, so the Zeus ulti didn't hit. What a player.
I should. I don't.
Well, unless you see him coming, it's like, there's not really much to be done about that. What I would try to do is just off-map farm for a while until we get our Lincolns. If the team fight breaks out and we're capable of fighting, then we go. But since we already have Orchid mana regen, fighting in a lane is going to result, or farming in a lane is going to result in that every single time, right?
Yeah.
And we saw that he has bought smoke, even though he used it. We have to know that he is aware of the item and what it can do. Because if he smokes and then he charges past a ward, you'll have no idea. So we really want to try to make our way to that next item. Until we have Lincolns, sitting in lane or being visible at all is a huge risk to us.
Right. So in that case, since like there's 4 people in the jungle, I guess there's top lane, but that's not off map. So,
Yeah.
but I guess because there's 4 in the jungle, I'm somewhat safe.
Yeah, farming the jungle, if they have vision, it will become very apparent. So if you never show yourself in lane, and you just walk straight to the woods, which you don't have to now, because the Spirit Breaker is actually walking to your side shop, and you could probably get away with farming another wave. But for the most part, if you just have like a route where you farm the woods, and you stay off map the entire time, and you still get charged, then you can just say, okay, well they have a ward here, or here. Because depending on how long it takes for you to get charged...
There's a Sven right here. I don't know.
Yeah, but the Spirit Breaker... Okay, maybe now we should run. Good dodge. So we don't want to show ourselves again. What you can do is you can just wait for the jungle to respawn, or you can make your way towards bottom if you think a fight's going to break out. The choice is pretty much yours. But as everyone is off map, it's actually better to just not show at all.
Okay.
Because
Even if I'm not, like I said, the whole jungle's dead. And
yeah, the jungle's... You can like try to farm the small camp or the medium camp down here. Like this camp is okay to farm. And again, if you do get charged while you're AFK farming the woods, then you can just say there's a ward here. And worst case scenario, you just deward it yourself.
Okay.
Coin for me.
Okay, that Viper has a Piperino. Okay, so the Spirit Breaker is still MIA. Okay, there he is. So if we can see him, we can farm the lane. But if we can't see him, that's when we want to be hesitant about sitting there. So like he showed himself for a second or two, and then he disappeared. So we're like, alright, we gotta be a little bit careful. Like when you kill this, I would actually just blink towards your tier 2. That's how I would play this. But your sniper's here now too, so maybe you're actually okay. Oh, yep, okay. They relocated. You are probably getting charged right now. Because I don't think they charged the sniper since he was the one who was invis. Okay, never mind, he's charging mid. That's just a free kill. Might be able to even get the Viper. They're split here, so I think this is a good good engagement. Oh, you should have ulted, so that killed him. Yeah.
I misjudged. For some reason, I thought that was gonna kill him.
With a pipe and freaking corrosive skin, no way.
Yeah. Alright.
So instead of going for the ultimate orb, we're just going to go for the perseverance. Because we're going to continue playing off map. That's the key here. If we're planning on getting ganked, then buying the ultimate orb is the right play. But if we're just farming, then getting a perseverance means that we stay at a higher amount of HP. This is a good TP. Alright, you're hitting the familiar, but that's okay. Oh, you had Orchid that whole time. Yeah, if you Orchided that guy, you would have got a doubler, and you would not have died.
I just went like complete block, mind block on that. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, the easiest thing to do is that would have actually been an okay time to blink in. Like, you could have blinked next to the cogs. Your Scream likely would have hit 2, you just Orchid the Visage, and then you just kill. But that's why I also talked about understanding your game plan before you get into a team fight. Like, looking at that situation, the only hero who could have killed you was Visage, because Spirit Breaker's cast animations are so horrid that if he's stuck in cogs with that guy, he cannot cast a spell. Nothing he does will go through the duration of Battery Assault. So that means that, okay, well, what can they do? The Spirit Breaker's trapped. I can get Soul Assumptioned, and I can get Bird Stunned. So that is your threat factor for that fight. But if the Visage is silenced, and you're Bird Stunned, and the Spirit Breaker can't do anything, then there's 0 threat, because the stun doesn't do anything unless there's damage follow-up. So that's why we have to think ahead and be like, ah, this is the right call. This will net me a guaranteed kill in this situation. And that death does hurt you a lot. Like, dying before your Linken's is complete is a huge pain in the ass. So the other option we have here is farming their woods. If you walk like through the trees like this way, for example, like if you make that path, and you just go farm their side of the map, it's a little bit risky, but we see 4 of them, right? Now we actually see all 5. So there's a couple of things that this does. If they charge you walking down the river, you can just TP immediately, and then you'll know that there's a ward. You can grab the bounty rune for free. You can... Oh, you are getting charged. They have a ward there. Okay, so now we know they have a ward there, right? So that's free information. He has to cancel because he can't see up the hill. That guy misses hook, which could have ultimately resulted in a kill, so that's a bit of a bummer. But we made a call. We now know that they have a ward there. That's more information that we didn't have. And all we had to do was literally walk towards their river. It was no risk to us. We saw everyone. And now we know that there's vision.
Yeah.
So, easy game.
Okay.
You can just tell the Zeus to bolt there, and it'll probably be dewarded. I'm guessing from the point that he charged you, it's on their side of the river. That would be my guess. Okay, the Spirit Breaker's in their woods. You should be going bottom right now. You should not be running up there. What I want you to try to do is avoid trying to fight small skirmishes until you have your Linken's. That is our goal. We don't want to put ourselves at risk. We just want to make sure that we can get a little bit of farm. I wouldn't even show here. I would just go straight to the woods. The only thing that you can potentially run into is a Sven, and that's not that scary, because even if you get stunned, we should probably be on strength treads.
Right there.
Yeah, but he showed. So the Spirit Breaker is also walking into the woods. The camps are dead. We don't want to continue running this way.
He just came bottom. Like...
Yeah, you should just run, like TP into trees or blink into trees and TP. Okay. So they all made their way back to their side of the map. But because of that movement, we know that middle lane and top lane are both safe, so you can actually just go farm top. And our TP is down, so we're just going to use the TP cooldown as an indicator of when we should next take a team fight. Because if they're not pressuring us, I'm fucking farming. You know what I mean? Like that's my mentality right now. Also be very wary of the relocate, as the Spirit Breaker is missing. We're on strength treads, that's good.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, Roshan's not being done, but we have our Necrolite next to us, so we're feeling a little safer. As long as that guy's around, I think you're okay to stay here. If you see a relocate for any reason, you fucking blink away. You do not stay to fight.
Right.
Everyone on their team is missing right now, except for the Visage. So we want to be very careful. We kind of have a lull in vision right now, and I think this is where most players would have that mentality of, I feel like I need to try to do something, but the right play is just to not fucking die. That is the play. Okay, so now we see 2. Eventually they felt like they had to show. We just continue farming the woods. We blocked a small camp, but that's fine, because we were looking at the map. No, it's okay, honestly. Like, even blocking that camp is not a big deal, as long as we didn't give away a kill. In all likelihood, they will be checking the jungle, and that's probably why the Necrolite is TPing away. But we're just going to blink. We're going to stick around. We're going to blink away towards mid. And we're going to see if they show themselves in any other position. The other option we have is we could go bottom as well. The big thing that I'm trying to... I guess it's not super obvious if I just tell you what lane to go to, but... By moving to the other side of the map, you force the enemy team to... They want to move to you, right? Like, they want to try to kill you because that's what their team is built around. They are a very mid-game focused team. You guys have Sniper, you have Necrolite, and you have Zeus. 3 amazing late-game heroes. The big overarching theme of this game is that if we make it late and we haven't fed the living shit out of them, we should potentially win. So all the time you're spending off map might feel like you're not doing anything, but they might be farming a little bit better than you, but your late game is significantly better than theirs. And they don't have any BKBs on any of their heroes. So just by abusing the fact that we might be farming like 80 to 75% as effectively, they still have to break high ground. And as long as we don't die, defending our base is a fuckload easier because their item progression isn't as fast.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, because right now I'm feeling like, you know, I feel like I'm wasting time, basically, like running around like this.
Believe me when I say that being dead is a much bigger waste of time than farming.
Yeah.
The hard part about this game is that no one's warding. That's the part that makes it very difficult. In a real game, you would have people warding all the time, and it would be a lot easier to make the decision on where was safe to farm and where wasn't safe. Right. So the other problem is that since we don't have Lincolns yet, we can't farm lanes safely. As soon as we get that item, the feeling of the Spear Breaker being a threat is fucking gone. It's like, boom, right. Lincolns, he can't charge me anymore. That's like the dream. That's the point that we want to get to, and that's why I emphasize making the items so much, because it changes so much about how you can play the game. You could probably farm this wave. You got like 3 people nearby.
Yeah, and there's 3 mid too.
We just want to be watching where our teammates are, because if the Spirit Breaker comes up here, we're going to need some backup. Okay, all your team is TPing up here. You're getting charged. You're going to have to Orchid that guy before he hits you.
I tried.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just a misclick. You might get some kills here, though. But see, even this fight is okay, because you're going to get a lot of kills. The Sniper is not taking any damage right now, and the Viper is not focusing him either. So as long as he doesn't walk into birds and die. Alright, he walked into birds and died. That was bad play by the Sniper. But the if you had gotten your Orchid off, you probably would have lived. You also blinked in a very bad direction. Because I don't know if you knew you were getting charged or not, but if you knew, you should always blink as far away as you can from the direction that he's coming from to ensure that you can get the Orchid off before he hits you. Because if that happens, there's never any stun follow-up, and he'll just Dagon you. And if that happens...
Yeah, I think I should have blinked higher in the lane, because when I blinked down, I saw the Sven, and I kind of panicked, and then I kept running instead of turning around and Orchiding.
Yeah. That's the panic factor. It happens. When things get hairy, it's very common to not think about the things that you want to do before you do them. A lot of that was the Sniper being very poorly positioned too, though. Like, he had a very good spot at the start where he killed like 3 heroes, I think, for free. And then instead of just backing off and like repositioning to try to go for the last kill, he just tanked Aghanim's birds and just fucking died.
Dire's structures are fortified. Your top tower
We could probably chase this out. Got the dagger. Alright. Okay, they're coming back up here for sure. Oh, he's relocating. Nice ulti. Good shit. That was very nicely done. You actually blinked out of gold range, though. That kind of sucked.
Oh.
Yeah, you blinked too far away to get assist gold from that. But it's okay, because that guy just died, and that's a huge kill. We also almost have Lincolns, so we just want to farm the next wave. Spirit Breaker's mid, so we just want to go top. Oh, nice. Your Clockwork actually found a kill, I think. Good shit. Okay, team is helping. This is good. Don't back yet. Play it greedy. Just keep farming. There's 3 people dead. There's like no reason for us to back at all here.
Yeah, okay.
And we got that mana regen, yo. So we can just keep a farming. Now, a lot of the things that I'm telling you are just based around the way that I play. Depending on who you get coaching from, their mentality about the game could be different. And it's not to say that it's wrong, it's just that this is the way that I play. So if you find later on that you want to adapt a little bit of what I tell you, that's also perfectly okay. If you want to try to be more active and you feel like you can get more kills, that's fine. But the way that I'm trying to teach you to play is how to 1v5. Like how to think that your team is awful and try to climb. Like that's the way that I play the game. Alright, they just relocated to try to kill a tower? I don't know what he's doing.
I think he gave up.
No, I think he just wants a tier 2 because there's a shitload of creeps on it.
No.
By killing that wave, he makes the push a lot better. Alright, so we got our Lincolns. We are now pretty much immune to any Spirit Breaker shenanigans. That means that now we can pressure the lanes non-stop, as opposed to having to farm the woods. That opens up more avenues for my team to farm. And we are also fighting here, I think. Maybe not. But yeah, we're totally safe. Like, if our Lincolns gets popped, we have to be a little bit wary of getting, like, Spirit Breaker ultied or something like that, but... I love that you didn't blink there. Because now we can turn around and kill that guy. We probably don't want to go on the Viper. We can look possibly for a re-engage if it seems reasonable. Nah, it's not. Just TP bottom. Or no, wait, the sniper's there still. I think he dies. Yeah, okay. Now we TP bottom. Yeah, you guys kill the range racks, but it doesn't really matter that much. Like, everything considered, your late game is still a lot better. You just got 3,000 gold out of nowhere. Like, this is why I try to tell you not to die, because that's the kind of gold swings that you get. So all that time you spent sitting there thinking, I'm wasting time, you just got 3,000 gold from one engagement. Now imagine if that engagement had gone the other direction, and everyone on their team got that kind of money because you decided to farm an extra wave in lane instead of playing off map. That's the kind of gold difference you can run into if you're not careful. But now we're bulletproof. The Spirit Breaker's dead. Even if they relocate, the Viper can't even ult us because we have Lincolns. So we can play this as greedy as fucking possible and just continue to get items and then smother them with our giant piles of gold. That is the patented Draskyl strategy. You should farm the woods, don't back. You're full health, full mana. You don't need to go anywhere but farm. Like, farm, farm, farm. I want that to be the first thing in your brain is, I'm full health, I'm full mana, everyone is dead, I will farm everything while they are dead.
Okay.
We could go for a couple of items here. We could go Shivas, we could go Ags, we could go Hex. I think going for Hex is probably the best choice, but I also think Shivas has its merits. Aghanims is obviously good too, so it's kind of a preference thing. I like being a little bit tankier, so that's why I go for the Shivas. We're also against a Sven, which is a little bit spooky, but Shivas is nice for being able to go high ground. You just get a little bit more survivability. But again, the choice is totally up to you. Like, no item here is bad.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Sell the stick. Don't sell the bottle. No! Always keep bottle over stick.
Okay.
Like, don't rebuy the stick, but you've already made the choice. Just go for whichever item you wanted to buy. The reason we want to keep the bottle is because during the late game, some runes can be very impactful, like double damage, haste rune, and by having them in the bottle for a team fight, it can be very, very helpful. Like just being able to kite somebody out, maybe like hitting for 350 damage as opposed to 200, and winning the fight in the late game is very, very impactful as opposed to winning a fight at like 10 minutes in. Even though the runes might feel like they do more at that point in the game, the fight impact is much different. That guy is fucking dead. Very nice ulti. Okay. Our Lincoln's is down here. Alright. Sniper is dead, but that guy's BKB should be off soon. We do not want to tank him. He is power. You can dagger him. You're very safe here. You have Lincoln's back up. Yeah, okay. I don't know why he bought back. It's like totally worthless actually. Remember, he cannot stun us even with Blink unless he stuns the Necrolite. So don't stand on the Necro, and you should be okay.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That was a hell of a recoil. Shrapnel!
My destruction.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Alright, so we got 3 people alive. We still can't be stunned, but we're standing on the Necro. They're relocating behind us, so we want to be a little bit out of range. You can even Orchid that guy. Yeah, that's
The
good.
enemy's
And just
bottom
kill
barracks
with
has
perfect.
fallen.
Fucking perfect. Well played.
Starts at the head.
That is a dead-ass sniper, though. Good shit. Just, you can dagger him maybe and just hit the melee racks or something. Actually, just go top. Don't fucking fuck with that guy. It's a waste. There you go.
The enemy's top barracks has fallen.
Yeah, I think that Sven didn't realize he was being relocated. Alright, neat. So what do we do now? We farm their woods because we're greedy shits and they can't kill us because we have Lincolns. Woo. Sorry if
Sounds like a
I'm
plan.
being redundant. I'm just trying to drill into your brain to be greedy.
It helps a lot.
But like anytime I see those little green triangle things up in the woods, I get like OCD. I'm like fucking kill them, because I need gold. That's my one purpose for beans is having money. Ah, see, there's a haste there.
The bottle.
Now imagine if we had a bottle. But yeah, it doesn't really matter too much at this point. We've pretty much won the game. You can even farm bottom. There's like no way they can kill you. Nice. I like the fact that we're still just fucking farming. But see, this is why it's so important to not get too greedy when you know the enemy team has an advantage. Because if you try to play this way, when the enemy team is like fighting you non-stop and you show yourself in lane against Spirit Breaker, you saw what happened. Like, you got fucking annihilated instantly.
Right.
So, because we were patient, we waited for our time to fight, we took a handful of good engagements, and then all of a sudden the game looks fucking easy. And then, even if we get charged, we got a Lincolns.
We just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haste!
So having good item progression is very key to having a high impact in a game, especially as a mid, and understanding what items give you what potential. So against teams that don't have Spirit Breaker, it's actually a lot easier for you to play this style, because you can, instead of having to farm the woods, you can pressure lanes. So their team advantage was the fact that you guys all kind of had a huddle together for a while, but as soon as that phase was over, because you won a couple of good engagements, as soon as that Spirit Breaker can't charge you and get a free kill, what does that fucking hero do anymore? Like, that's the thing, too, that you need to keep in mind is, once I get to X item, this hero on the enemy team might as well not even be in the fucking game, because he does nothing. Like, he can't do anything to my hero. I'm tanky as fuck. I got Aghanims, Orchid, Shiva's, Lincolns, and I thought I was being inefficient with my time, but I actually have insane farm because the fights that I took were proper, and I didn't get super greedy until it was necessary for me to do so, or at least beneficial.
Okay.
Like, if I look at your inventory right now, I think that you had a good game. Like, I don't think anything other than that when I'm looking at the score screen. And what the fuck? That Wisp is like,
The enemy's bottom
he's in.
barracks You now have mega creeps.
Should have just screamed. I don't know what.
Nah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're Megid, so whatever happens, happens at this point. What a lot of players would do in your position if they were playing this game is they would have continued farming lanes, they would have continued getting charged, and every time they died, it would have felt like a harder and harder game until you were so far behind that you might not have even gotten to a second item before the game was already like super over.
Honestly, I think if without like the advice you were giving me, I think I probably would have done the same thing.
The
Yeah,
enemy's
but
middle
it's
tower
easy to
has
fall
fallen.
into that mentality, right? Because if the
Yeah.
player is sitting there and they think, I'm not doing anything with this time, it's not that you're wrong. It's just that the enemy team often needs to use that time more effectively than you do, because that's their timing window to win the game. Like, that Spirit Breaker needed to end the game. That's why he was playing so aggressive. You don't have that kind of pressure on you, so you don't have to worry about it. Damn, that was a fucking manly blink, by the way.
That's one.
You might be able to blink, though. Maybe. Oh, almost. Close.
Yeah.
Heartstopper, go! You got him. Nah, it doesn't matter that you died. The game's over.
Okay, that's like, that was so much, like, that was such great advice right there.
Yeah, that.
Like, I don't know if I would have
Dire
done
victory.
half of what I just did without, like, those small tips.
Yeah, but if you have any questions, man, like about these 2 games, feel free just to ask at any point. If you don't understand like why you should do this or why you should do that, hopefully I'm explaining it in a way that's comprehensible. But
Yeah, I understand, because, yeah, like, the way I was, like, farming in lane, showing yourself in lane with the Spirit Breaker, like, I get charged. And then, like, I've had games where I just continue going like that, because I'm like, okay, well, there's 3 people in our jungle farming it, bottom lane's pushed out, I don't know where else to go, I'll go top lane. And I don't think about, like, if I show myself top, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get farmed because I'm not doing anything.
yeah, the big thing too that you actually mentioned yourself is everyone on your team is not in a lane. So what happens if you're the only person visible on the map?
Yeah.
You're fucked.